I'm Yanni from Yanni's Nerdverse, and today we're going to be unboxing the first ever the Batman merchandise. First up, how to get my hands on this thing. So, if you didn't know, the Batman was supposed to release in June 25th, I think, of 2021, which is this month. At least when, depending on the time you're seeing this video. But of course, the Batman got delayed, sadly, and now it's releasing next year. But the thing is that when movies are delayed, it doesn't always affect the merchandising. It really depends on what's been made, what the deals are originally, and stuff like that. A lot of boring details. So essentially, they made this toy, and now they have to release it. And I guess DC or they just didn't care. So part of that though is the fact that not many have been made. So there are some out there, but it's not like a full-on release. They kind of released it like under the radar too. Like most people don't know about it. They didn't advertise it anywhere. People had to just happen to be shopping and they found it. So essentially what that means that fans like me who are crazy about the Batman found out about this and drove to Target or a bunch of different Targets depending on how lucky you are and got this thing. And if you want to pick this thing up for yourself, it's 99 cents, but it's tracking for about $9 before shipping on eBay right now. So that's like an 800% like increase in price. So yeah, if you do want it, good luck to get your hands on it. I was very lucky. I went to only, I think, 3 Targets. First one was a bust. Second one though, it was a bust on the first day. I went back 2 days later, and they had 4 of them. I picked up 2, and then I actually went back to Target a couple days later after that, actually, just to do errands. And I went back just to check for my curiosity, and they're both gone. So if you do want them, I highly recommend going now. You can find them at Target, grocery stores, anywhere where they really do sell Hot Wheels. And like I said, depending on your Target, you might get them sooner rather than later. The first Target I went to, I know was really slow when it comes to shipping, so wasn't really planning on getting it there. But the second one where I did get this, they're very up to date with it, which is why I was able to get it when I did. So keep on checking. I would say probably within a week after this is posted, probably all the shipments will have come in. I'm not an expert in this sort of thing, but that's what I'm going to be guessing around. But keep on checking, and if worst comes to worst, you can chalk up $7 plus shipping, and then I'm assuming there will be another wave of release for this closer to when the movie's going to release. So it depends on how early we want to get this. Now before we unbox this thing, if you're a fan of nerd toys, you know that there are a lot of details always on packaging of things. So let's break these down first, because actually the back does give a fun little detail about the movie. And these photos up here too. First thing is the Batmobile, really good image of it. Nothing that you can't see on the actual toy itself, but it's really cool. It's a really good close-up one, especially because we haven't really seen a good close-up image of it. Set photos, really haven't seen anything of the Batmobile, surprisingly. It's mostly been like the Bat Cycle. But in that first teaser that we got from DC Fandom, we obviously saw some good footage of it in the end of the movie. But there's 3 big images up here in the top right left-hand corner, actually. And I do want to point them out because they actually are pretty interesting. So first things first is the Batmobile itself. And the cool detail, which we didn't really see in the trailer, was that it has multiple exhaust ports. But exhaust ports in the sense that it's sort of like nitro, flame, like turbo effect. And that's something we didn't see in the trailer. We saw in the back it had like a rear exhaust. But in the photo you can see there are a lot of close-ups of it on like the left and right hand side of it, and actually on the front and on the top of the back. So I'm assuming there will be a chase sequence in the movie where he'll have to go really fast or something, or he'll be in a big rush, maybe to get groceries or something. And then he'll have to activate it and just zoom on by. The second less interesting one, I'll end up with a really cool one, is that there's a up close photo of Robert Pattinson's Batman, and if you're a fan of DC merchandise, you'll know this is the classic Batman pose. It's always him hunching over, battering in one hand, bent over. It's like a whole thing. You can see it in Arkham Knight. You can see it in some of the Dark Knight trilogy. You can see it in Arkham Knight. I think it said Arkham Knight, and just even I think Ben Affleck's Batman had one of those. Very classic for Batman. The cool thing, which is a big fan theory, is that you can see a bridge. Obviously, we're going to all assume this is Gotham Bridge itself, and there have been a lot of rumors that this actually has the bridge is a really big plot point. And that stems from the fact that you can see it in comics. Riddler does stuff on bridges all the time. In the Batman animated show, he has a whole episode dedicated to it. And in the song for the Batman teaser, Something in the Way by Nirvana, it mentions the bridge a lot, like underneath the bridge, all this stuff's happening, so on and so forth. So, all these things connected, it's entirely possible that it has something big to do with it. Because I am surprised they did include a bridge like this. It could be they just need something in the background for attaching the Batmobile somewhere to drive, but I was actually surprised when I saw the bridge. Now if you look at the back, it says Batmobile born in 2021, which that's correct now. Gotham City designer Bruce Wayne. And the reason why that's important, which if you don't know, depending on how much you know about the Batman production, everything in this first Batman movie will be built and designed by Bruce Wayne. Now, if you just watched perhaps maybe the Nolan trilogy, you might know that Lucius Fox builds all of Bruce Wayne's gadgets, which is very different from the comics. Lucius Fox typically helps with the more high-tech stuff, but originally Bruce does do all the gadgets himself. So this whole Batmobile is completely souped up by Bruce himself. Alfred didn't do it, well, I'm sure he helped, but Lucius didn't do it, and I forgot the name of the character, but in the Batman animated series, there also is a character who first does the Batmobile, and there was a rumor that he was going to be in the movie, but it appears that he's not going to be, and that Bruce did himself do the entire Batmobile. And the paragraph below it reads, "A Batmobile like you've never seen it before. Rumbles and roars through the dark and gritty streets of Gotham City. It may be different in its design, but it's identical in its purpose. To get Batman where he needs most, and get him there with a vengeance." So, obviously, they point out a couple of things. The first one is that it's different in design. I'm assuming that is because, at first glance, this isn't a Batmobile like most of the average viewers know. When people think of Batmobile, they'll think of probably the Tumbler from Batman Begins, Dark Knight, or they'll think of the new Batmobile, well, I guess old now, in the Ben Affleck's Batmobile. Because those two are really big, weaponized vehicles. And now Matt Reeves is taking a more comic accurate approach, doing a Batman Year 1, Year 2 classic Batmobile, which is just a normal car. And in that sense, which I'm actually really excited for that, because I'm always a big fan of the nice, sleek Batmobile. And so that's just a little hint to the people who are picking this toy up. The other thing I want to point out is it says dark and gritty streets of Gotham. That could be an offhand comment, which I'm sure it is. But the fact that they point it out, a lot of people have been thinking that, oh, that means it is R-rated because they're emphasizing the whole dark and grittiness. I don't think it's going to be R-rated. I'm sure there's just a random line they threw in there to make it sound cool and edgy. I do think it'll be a very dark PG-13, but the main reason is that I don't think Hot Wheels would advertise an R-rated movie. I actually did see an Arkham Knight Batmobile, which is actually, it's an M-rated video game, but I feel like it's a little bit different. So, in my opinion, I still think it'll be PG-13, but you never know. I could totally be wrong, and next week it could be announced rated R. We'll see. And the last thing, they emphasize the word vengeance again, which everyone, of course, loved from the Batman trailer. Everyone thought it would say Batman, he says, "I'm vengeance," and goes crazy. So overall, it just emphasizes more what we know. It's a very dark Batman, very gritty, very Year 1. So now that that's pretty much covers everything on the packaging, let's open this thing up. And I already opened up this one first time. Actually, my camera died. I had a whole issue, so through movie magic, I will have it open. I don't know how well the editing is going to work. We'll see. At the very least, so here it is unboxed, and it's actually a really cool toy. I was really, really excited about this, and it did not disappoint. Alright, so the main thing I want to point out is the whole exhaust port thing, because, like I said, we saw the rear one in the trailer, but on the photo, on the packaging, you can see all these actually different exhaust ports. You can see it on both sides, you can see it on the top and there, and you actually see, which I'm assuming is on the front too. Which is actually really cool. I'm really excited to see how that plays out in live action. It probably looks really cool. And actually, if you didn't know, it's most likely 100% practical effects because in that Batman trailer, that rear exhaust port was actually practical effects. There's no CGI in that trailer, which is actually really cool, if you didn't know. And the Batmobile itself, like I said, is really detailed. And I mean, I'm not a big fan of Hot Wheels toys, so I don't know how to compare them. But to me, I mean, this is a 99-cent toy. And the fact that they got this much detail is pretty astonishing to me because it looks really cool. Some cool things to point out is the whole thing is black with some silver technology on it. There are some hints of red in the back on the rear lights, and then there's something on the roof of the car. I'm assuming that is a rear light, but I'm actually not sure. It could. I'm assuming it's just that. And funny enough, there's actually no rear window. There's actually a complete opening, so it could be the Batmobile is a very open vehicle, and that could be because it's customized, and Bruce had to make room for this engine, which I'm assuming this back is the engine. I'm aware that in cars it's typically in the front, but I know some older vehicles are in the back, and there are some rumors that this Batmobile isn't going to be, in fact, Thomas Wayne's, which is Bruce Wayne's dad, vehicle. So that could be why. Or just because he souped it up and he had to put the engine in the back to make more room, who knows. But yeah, there is no rear. It's a completely open Batmobile. And we also have seen the windows. There are no windows. There are no door handles. I'm sure that's just because they want to make it look more sleek, but the doors definitely do open. I'm sure Bruce doesn't climb through this tiny little window. The interior of the car is actually a little bit more detailed than I assumed. There are seats. You can see the steering wheel. You can see a little bit of a dashboard, and I'm sure some level like a brake or stuff like that. Now there is no actual Robert Pattinson Batman in there, which is very typical for these toys, but just don't get your hopes up. As far as the exterior, like I said, there's the front of the car, which is by far the most detailed. Got a really cool bumper on it. The wheels are pretty standard for Hot Wheels from I remember from my childhood. Those look very similar. Overall, it's a great toy. It's not like it's the most high. Actually, it actually is very detailed. It looks pretty well, like high quality, but don't expect like a crazy amount of like detail on this extent. I very much love this toy, which I keep on referencing it. A little bit of a size difference, but hopefully one day we'll get a really big Robert Pattinson Batmobile. But overall, it's a great toy. If you're a fan of the Batman and you are itching for new content, like I am, every single day, there's like 260 days until it releases now. I don't know, I got a countdown going on my phone. I'm very much excited for this movie. So if you are as obsessed with it as I am, definitely try picking this up. Like I said, go to your Targets, Jewel, Walgreens, anywhere they sell Hot Wheels. But do it fast because odds are they've already been picked out, but try your best. And like I said, you can always go to eBay or wait till, I'm assuming when new release will be next February, which will be next year. Aside from that, let me know what else you guys want me to cover. I'm going to be covering all the Batman content, rumors, speculations, breakdowns of trailers when they come out, covering more merchandise when it does come out. But also I do all DC content, all Marvel and Star Wars content. You can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, where you are now. I post every day on every platform, something at least. Typically it's a video. So let me know what you guys want to see. Let me know if you guys like this video. Share it, like it, do all that stuff. I know no one likes to hear it. And I will see you guys later.